Hello traders, welcome back to the Trading Fanatic channel with the weekly outlook and setups volume 177. Happy New Year once again. Hope you had an amazing festive period, you rested very well, you reflected on your year, and you have set up some amazing goals for 2023. Personally, I had a lovely time. I have reflected very nice. Hopefully you also enjoyed the newsletters that I was sending. Let me know in the comments if you did. And just came back to my workstation and ready to hustle, ready to trade and get back into the markets, and of course create some amazing content for you. I have some amazing things planned right now for this month, for the next month as well, so make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss those. So this weekly outlook, we're gonna start with a monthly analysis. I would just also for myself, I want to get into the zone a little bit, see where the market is, see how December has closed, how January is open, and what of course we can expect in terms of fundamentals. So we're gonna touch a little bit on the fundamentals as well, have a look at the interest rate, inflation, the economic calendar, the fear and greed index, and all of those great stuff. So hopefully you're excited to get back. The first week was NFP, so as this one is over, we had a little bit of moves this week, but nothing very exciting. A few profitable trades that my team already took, started the year very nicely. But I do think this week we're going to start rolling already with NFP over. So let's see what we can do about it. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the analysis because we have a lot to cover. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with a DXY, the US dollar currency index. Most of us trade USD pairs, so it's really important that you start your week and your daily session as well with the DXY to have a look how it's moving, because this helps you build a bias for all the other USD pairs. So it's very important to also touch a little bit on fundamentals and what we can potentially expect. The situation is still very uncertain. I'm reading different articles, different like influencers and people, not really influencers, but even bankers and people like this. And hearing a lot of different things, right? Some say that the crash could already be over. Some say that we're going to be getting into the worst. The worst is yet to come, right? 2023 is going to be the worst. Some say that we're going to have a consolidation overall until the Fed are taming the inflation. Some are saying that as they tame the inflation, it's going to fall down, but then it's going to increase again into a second kind of bubble, right? So a lot of uncertainty. And again, nobody knows what's going to happen, which is why, to get back to my motto, you should always flow with the market. So if we have a look at this little graph right there. So on the 14th of December, Fed hiked their rates by 50 basis points again. So the current rate is 4.5%. which is, I think, the highest from the major currencies that we're trading, right? We can immediately see Great Britain. They also hiked it by 50 basis points. Then we have Europe also at 2.5, New Zealand 3.5, and the Aussie is 3.10, right? So all of them hiked the rates in December, which is great, right? And as they all hike the rates, then of course we have to again compare. So for example, the United States 4.5 and Europe with 2.5, right? So that means that the dollar should be stronger than the euro, right? So we should be seeing the euro going down, right? So this is pretty much how it works, but it doesn't work so easily, right? So again, inflation right now is very important. And actually next week, where is it? When was it? There we go. So CPI on Thursday, 12th of January, we're going to have CPI for the US, which hasn't been announced like for a while. That's going to be for December, right? And what we can see right here is that the American inflation is currently at 7.11%, which is the lowest. Like European, you can see 10%. That's insane. 9% for the English and American right there, sitting at 7.1. But what is very interesting to see is that if we have a look at this short-term graph right there, so we went all the way like around 9, right? And right now we're very nicely falling down. So this is why people are saying, okay, inflation is being tamed, blah, 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 blah. It's going to get better. But then I want you to look at this long-term graph, right? Look where we are, right? Look where we were, right? They're consolidating, and look at that big spike, right? So what other people said is like something like this, like the push, the pullback, and then another bubble, right? So right now we have the push, we can have a little bit of a pullback right there, and then we can have another push, which is when actually the crash could come in, right? So we can have a little bit of a slowdown right now, but again, this is too long term to read. So I'm going to keep you updated. We are also running right now fundamental sessions in our community, so I'm going to keep you updated on that. So getting back to the technicals, after we have a look at this, again, make your conclusions. I'm not making any conclusions, just looking at the data and trying to, of course, transfer it on the charts. On the monthly time frame, last month closed as a very nice bearish candle, which is great. And currently we're tapping inside this little base, right? So this is not a very important demand zone. It's just like a nice base. We had a push, base, and a push, which creates a very nice demand zone. And again, I don't want to go on the left and try to draw like resistance or supply levels from 2001, right? I'm not doing this, so I'm just focusing on what is happening right now. A very nice push, and we're having around 3 months of pullback. Okay, so what is it trying to do? Well, once again, we were pretty extended, and as inflation, as we saw on this chart immediately, as inflation is starting to decrease right there, right, we can see it immediately parry with the dollar. So is there any correlation like this? I don't know, right? We gotta have a deeper look at this. Dropping onto the weekly time frame, well, December was pretty slow, right? After the last week of November, you can see December opened, indecision again, inside bar, another, now this is not an inside bar, but overall declining. And there is the first week of January, the first week of 2023, right? So we're tapping inside this demand zone, kind of reacted. And this week we made a very nice push up. It was looking very bullish at the time, but it was actually NFP that created this big wick, right? So this is a very heavy rejection coming from the upside, right? So weekly time frame tells us that. And then if I transfer on the daily, as I told you, it was the NFP on Friday that caused a massive flush to the downside. So if we actually look at the NFP stats, they were better than expected, right? So positive for the dollar, but it flushed. Why? Well, probably because it was already being priced in from Monday, right? And I see this pattern a lot, right? This is why you should not trade news releases. Is sure, it was positive, but look at this push, pullback, push. So we had a very nice ABC to the upside, and then NFP comes in. We also had a couple of other speeches, and then it just drops to the downside. And you're like, well, NFP was positive. Why did it go down? Well, that's how it does. And you can see like the December overall, nothing too much, an overall consolidation, right? So in terms of the daily, it's not very clean, right? We had a break of structure down there. Then we can see we have a break of structure here. Then maybe even another one. So I'm not gonna be focusing way too much on the higher time frames right now because they need a little bit of alignment, a little bit of volume, which we see it's starting to happen right there since the new year is open. And then of course, dropping onto the 40 time frame, you can see again, pure mess right there, definitely not tradable. We had this very nice impulse that created a shift of structure. Trend change, pulls back, higher low formation, beautiful higher high, pulls back. This is a valid higher low for me, higher high, and right now I would mark this as a 4-hourly reversal down, right? Then I would mark this as my 4-hourly supply potentially. And yeah, so again, after NFP, it's always tricky to trade because we have either very huge wicks or very huge moves. In this case, we have a very huge move to the downside right now. So the market is sitting at kind of again at this daily demand back into this consolidation. So we really don't know what's going to happen. Personally, I would say, well, I'm currently bearish, just focusing on the structure. I am bearish. Right after this very massive drop to the downside, we have a trend change. So what I will be looking for is either for a nice pullback to the upside in order to short from somewhere right there, or for the market to create a new range, lower high, lower low, then pulls back into the lower high, and then I will trade it like this, right? With a new structure break and with a brand new supply from right there. So those are the potential two outcomes that we can conclude with as of right now, as we don't have much data. So again, let's wait for Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to publish the flow with the markets. I'm going to start going live very soon as well. Just got to figure out how to do it. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's see how the Dixie opens. Right now, let's jump onto Euro. Euro USD is pretty much the opposite of the Dixie. As we know, they are pretty much negatively correlated. We still have this little base candle right there that the market is currently tapping into. So we can draw this one as potential supply zone. But yeah, I'm not going to be going on the left. We are pretty low. We went from 0.95 all the way to 0.05, right? Which is, what is it, 1,000 or 10,000 pips? I don't know, right? So three very nice, well, I would say two very nice bullish months coming into that supply zone. And right now we're starting with a little bit of indecision. So again, we are about to see what is going to happen. Dropping onto the weekly time frame, well, as indicated previously, I think we were still trading at that time. We had a weekly trend change right there. So since then I was bullish on the weekly time frame. And yeah, you can see all of those supply levels on the left, they just get invalidated, right? We got one right there. The market tapped, responded, and broke it. And right now we're tapping into pretty much the last one. So if you actually want to refine this zone all the way up, you can do this, right? In order to keep it clean. So we tapped in, rejected, and then we climbed up a little bit. So pretty much we had very slow December, right? Indecision, push up, rejection, inside bar, and just this week we had a little bit of development, but this doesn't tell me much, right? It's a very nice rejection coming from the downside. I can immediately see that we could have a little bit of a base right there, maybe on the daily time frame, but does that make it bullish or bearish? Well, we're gonna see right now. We were bearish on Dixie short term, so we could be bullish right there. So again, this little period right there from the 15th of December, again, beginning of December, we had some nice trades, but then starting from here, right? Very nice consolidation, very nice consolidation. Tried to push up, failed, and right now it's pushing down. So a very important thing to do right there is ask, well, where is our major high low on the daily, right? I don't trade the daily, so I don't have rules for it, right? But you have two choices. You either take this one as your major one, or you can take this one, right? This little pullback as your major one, right? So it looked like it held and it liquidity grabbed, and right now we're pushing up. So I'm going to refrain from actually drawing any breaks of structure on the daily. And immediately I'm going to transfer on the 4-hourly time frame, because this is where the magic happens. So what we can see is a whole big range right there, a whole big consolidation. This week was actually pretty good, right? So we had like a nice push. Well, that's not this week, I think. Yeah, the previous one. Pullback, high right there, and then a massive lower low. A massive lower low. Then we very slowly pulled back. Where did we pull back to? Of course, around 50%, right? 50%, chopped around the 50%, and then we went for a very nice lower low. So we had this kind of ABC to the downside, and look what is happening right now. Well, the lower high has been broken. When? On NFP, right? When also tapping very deep inside this demand zone, taking all the liquidity available. Like if you have a look at this low, that got taken. We had these lows right there. Everything is taken, and we have a massive impulse into the highs. So in order to keep it simple and not go again into great details as we did with the Dixie, currently I see this bullish, right? Weekly is also bullish. Again, let's not ignore that the weekly time frame is bullish right now, coming from this very nice rejection. What I always tell you about wicks is that wicks tend to get filled, right? So we can expect around like a little bit of a pullback right there. So I would be really happy if we have again a deeper pullback somewhere right there, and then the 15-minute aligns and we start going long. So that is situation number one. Situation number two is similar to the Dixie again, a pullback, high low, break, retest, and then a continuation from a brand new demand zone that is going to form right there. So again, I don't trade after NFP. I wait for the market to align a little bit. And yeah, so if the daily time frame is still bullish, then that means we can actually go and target this zone. Okay, so if the daily, depending on how we look at it, if the daily is still this, then all of this is a pullback about to be targeting 107.50. So that could be an eventual target. Okay, so that means that we can definitely go long. So let's see. Let's flow with the markets. I'm currently bullish on the euro. Let's see how it goes. Let's have a look at Euro JPY. The JPYs are looking a little bit more volatile than the USDs, right? So still this one on the monthly time frame, it is bullish. There's our break of structure. It's currently tapping into the demand zone, which we can take something like this. And then we can immediately go on the weekly and try to refine it. But then again, if we go to the weekly, right, then this is your structure break, then this is your high low, and you can see that it just almost broke it, but it did not, right? So maybe on another broker it broke it, but here it did not. But then again, I don't do monthly, weekly, and daily in my day trading strategy. Why? Because you're constantly going to have like a conflict between all the time frames. This is one going to be bullish, this one is going to be bearish, this one is going to be bullish, this one is going to be consolidation. So what do you do, right? Just stick to maximum 2 time frames, right? And 1 time frame for entry, so 3 time frames. I'm soon going to teach you how to do this. So recently we have been on this little correction right there, right? Tapping into this demand zone. So right now it's really important to ask, okay, are we going to continue up from this monthly demand zone, or are we going to keep digging deeper into it and potentially then coming inside, chopping around, and then to see what's going to happen? Right, so that's the big question. And then of course we're dropping onto the daily, then you can see, okay, well, weekly is bullish, monthly is bullish, but daily is bearish, right? So even if you take this one as your daily high low, because here we didn't have it very cleanly, it was broken, then we broke back up, and then we broke back down, right? So if you have a look at the most recent structure on Euro JPY, there is the break, there is the daily supply zone. Right, so we are bearish on the daily, bullish on the monthly, bullish on the weekly, bearish on the daily, and then dropping onto the 40 time frame, we are bearish, right? So what do you listen to? To the monthly and the weekly, or to the daily or to the 40, right? Well, personally, I'm always starting from the 4-hourly time frame. So let's zoom in and see what is happening right there. A very massive drop right there, right? JPY just kept sliding. We had a very massive drop right there. Let me know, you JPY traders, what caused this massive drop on the JPY, right? I personally don't know. I was really out of the market around that time. Very nice and slow correction right there, and then it started sliding down again. So if I really zoom in, I don't spot any valid lower high within these kind of regions. So definitely my valid lower high remains within these zones right there. So that is a pullback right there, not really. So yeah, I would just keep my daily lower high as my major 4-hourly lower high, because pretty much that's it, right? So what we can see happening right now is that if we take it from the high to the low, we are above 50% and we're starting to chop a little bit, right? So push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback, right? So starting to create a little bit of a range. So currently it's very hard to say what is going to happen. Why? Well, because we are trading inside this major leg, and anything inside is corrective. So what you should be looking for is for the market to align internally, right? So for example, this is an internal break. This is the last higher low formation. So I will be looking for a break of this, retest, and then to start following that down internally, right? So I would say I am bearish on Euro Yen, which does not resonate with my bullishness on EU, right? 15-minute. I wouldn't really look at 50-minute right now, right? But you can see like we have, this could be also a Wyckoff. I'm really not sure. It looks like a couple of 3 drives into the highs. The 50-minute has shifted down, but I wouldn't really trade it after this, right? Because you have a breakdown there. So you pretty much, your range is right now broken. So we're actually bullish. So no, we're definitely not looking on the 50-minute right now. So let's see. Right, again, it's too early. This analysis is just getting into the zone. We don't have amazing trading opportunities yet. This can do many things. It can continue ranging, it can come into the highs and then potentially make a shift. It can start going down, which will be nice, right? So a lot of outcomes and a lot of scenarios on Euro Yen. So I'm just giving it some time, let it play out a little bit and wait for the clean setups, right? So the bias is short, right? So if you have a very nice impulse to the downside, then I would say, yeah, follow it. Right? We haven't tapped into anything on the left though. So I would really love to see it come in right here and then take a short. So again, let's allow the market to do what it wants to do. And then we strike when we have a clean setup. Next on the list are the Aussies. So in terms of the monthly time frame, once again, this one is a bit tricky because we had like the first break of structure here, then the second break of structure here, then it broke structure down right there. And then the question is, okay, where is the major lower high? And to me, it's this one. This is the high, this is the low, and currently we are in a bearish pullback, right? So something like this. So then we can, of course, start drawing supply and demand zones. Like you can take this zone, right? You can take this zone on top, but I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to keep this one just for reference because it's within the 50% of this whole leg down. Okay, so am I saying that the Aussie dollar is going to flush? No, right? This is just, again, monthly analysis, which is overall, according to me, bearish. But we're also coming in from a very low level right there during the COVID crash, which created this very nice massive demand zone that caused the break of structure. We came like very nicely into it and we're rejecting from it right now. So again, who is going to prevail? Dropping onto the daily time frame, the weekly time frame. Well, yeah, the range is here, this one. Right, we have this range right there. So we're already above 50%. We're tapping inside the supply and we're starting to reject a little bit. But as you can see, it's not ready to flush yet. Right, we came in, rejected a little bit, came in, rejected, but we never broke structure. I think we never shifted bearish on the daily structure, which we're going to see in a moment. Right, and we keep coming in inside the zone. Okay, so we're definitely above 50% on the weekly and we're about to tap 50% on the monthly. So I'm very interested to see how Aussie dollar is going to develop inside this supply. Right, it's usually not part of my strategy to be drawing monthly, weekly, and daily supply zones. But again, in terms of the hard time frame, I will be really curious to see how it's going to develop within here. Dropping onto the daily, well, it actually shifted bearish for the moment, right? Because we have push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback here. Like depending on if you take body closes or wicks, personally, I take this as a break because we have so many wicks below it, right? Then we have this supply, and as you can see, the market comes inside, responds from it, then comes in again, responds again, but it looks like it wants to break it, right? So we definitely shifted bearish, but the sellers were not enough. They weren't as strong in order to push the market down. So I do think we are about to be grabbing liquidity above this level right there, which is going to create a daily bullish structure up and actually a trend change because currently we're bearish, right? And then from here, I would be looking for the 4-hourly time frame. Okay, so once again, dropping onto the hourly time frame, what is very interesting to see right now is that the last break of structure is here. Yeah, definitely. So we have a bullish break, bullish break, bullish break, a little bit of bearish break, bullish, bearish. Wow, this is very tricky. The last break is here. Where is the higher low? Well, it's yeah, it's a little bit tough to draw. So we can take something. Oops, we can take something like this. Damn, I've gotten rusty. It's my first week of analysis. I'm a little bit rusty. So we're pulling back towards here and look at the reaction, right? So again, this is why you follow the hourly. Right, hourly break of structure up, pulls back into demand zone, drop on the 50-minute, look for your setup, look at that wick right there. This definitely gave you a potential setup, but I do think this is NFP, so probably not tradable. So I do think this one is going to take out this high, right? And as it takes this high, then adapt again, keep looking for longs, but then of course, keep in mind, we're tapping into a very big supply zone, so we can anytime start seeing shorts, okay? So the first thing I'm calling on this pair is a break of this daily level right there. Did we already break this one? Yeah, we just actually took out the hourly high that is right here. So if we have any sort of pullbacks, then I will be interested to take into to get into a long. If we have a break above, then I will be interested for a pullback and getting another long. And then of course I'm gonna be flowing with the market and seeing whatever happens inside this big supply zone. Okay, so bullish Aussie dollar, Aussie JPY. Again, the JPYs are a little bit strange right now. Very nice push on the monthly, very nice pullback. Probably it's pulling back towards the 50%. Yes, it's at the 50%. Weekly time frame, yeah, this one is my worst nightmare, this pair. I always struggle to analyze it, but this was the major weekly low right there. High low, high high, pulled back, responded, finally broke it, right? Finally broke it. So right now we have this as supply dropping onto the daily time frame. The daily structure is the same as the weekly, which is good. We had a very nice push. The market pulls back. It tries to break below, but it fails. And what does that mean is that this will become liquidity, right? So I will be looking for this one to be taken right now, similar to the Aussie, taking it in. And then, for example, here to see the reversal and to go short. Okay, so that is pretty much my weekly and daily outlook. And then dropping onto the FOH. Oh, let's see. Well, yeah, this one is definitely shifted bullish. The question is, where is our... Yeah, this... Okay, this looks like the valid one according to my rules, right? So this is where we reversed bullish. We have one right there, but it doesn't tick my rules. We have one right there, but again, it doesn't tick my rules. So this is the break, right? We pull back. Then we have kind of another one. Man, this is tricky. Another one. Then if this is your major one and you take wicks as breaks, there you have a bearish break. And right now you are potentially about to have a bullish break, right? So if you just flow with the market, then this one should have been your supply in order to go short. But why would you go short, right, when the market just turned bullish and it's about to take this daily liquidity, right? So this is why the higher time frames are also doing a little bit of service, because you know, okay, daily lower high, it failed to make a new lower low, so that is going to become liquidity, and then we're going to go down. Okay, so what my forecast is for AJ is for it to break actually this level, right, and turn bullish on the FOH, and then I'm just going to keep longing it until I see a reversal to go short. Okay, so watch out for this zone. Probably it's gonna get taken because I see the rejection right there. So you probably got a short right there. Look at the reaction, but then it fails to go down. So it's gonna get taken, and then from there we're gonna have to follow the market and adapt to it. Okay, we can have a short on both the Aussie and the JPY at the same time. Maybe some sort of news is gonna come out. So watch out for that. But so far they are both kind of bullish, right? So watch out for that. Flow with the markets, and let's see what's gonna happen in the first trading week for me personally. All right, let's have a look at the NZDs. So again, tricky monthly time frame price action here. But yeah, we definitely had a bullish reversal here, right? So then the question is this also a higher low that was later broken, or is this the low and this the high, and we're trading currently within this range, potentially about to go bullish? Okay, so this is why, again, you need specific rules for your higher lows, for your lower highs, for your ranges, for your structure, for everything, right? Because many times you can be discretionary, right? And you can say, this is a higher low, but then this is a higher low, and then this is a lower high, and you can draw them in many different manners. Then you always kind of get it wrong, right? Which is why we actually spent in my community like 2 months to actually work on ranges like this. So we have actually made it to the pip, very precise. So you're actually not never wrong, but you always know what you're looking for, and you always draw them correctly and make sure to flow with the markets. right? So in this case, I do not actually have rules for monthly, weekly, and daily, right? I have rules for the hourly and for the 15-minute, which are the two time frames that I mostly look at, okay? So this one came in very deep inside this demand zone, which is the COVID demand zone, and came in, didn't break it, and right now it's massively reacting, okay? So again, many outcomes on this one. You can say that this is a break of structure down. You can say that this is our range, right? Because this is not a valid range right there to be broken down. Okay, so many different outcomes, many different supply zones that you can draw. This one was broken right there. Then you can of course draw this one, but as you can see, they just like keep getting broken. So why you will draw them to have very big zones on your charts, right? And then just for them to get violated because the hourly time frame is bullish, right? So monthly time frame, I don't want to say it's bearish or bullish because personally, again, it's debatable. We can be in this range, we can be bullish, or we can be like this can be a structure break, and then we can be in this range, in this range, which can be bearish, right? So what is the truth? Well, we don't know. It depends on your plan, right? Weekly time frame is very cool. Why? Because we have this push. And this push, like we have a little bit of a pullback right there, but it's just one candle. So on the weekly time frame, I wouldn't count it. But this is the push, and this push got taken by this wick. So some of you don't take wicks. I personally take wicks. Why? Well, because if this level is strong right there and it gets violated even by a wick, if I go on the hourly time frame, there is going to be a close, right? So even if you have like a hourly wick break, then if you go to the 1 minute, it's going to be a body. So for me, if this is my level and it gets crossed by a wick, it's broken, it's invalidated, right? And very important to know on the weekly that this one is invalidated, which means that we are turning bullish. And you can say that this is your range right now. So very massive expansion right there on the NZD/USD. It was very weak and right now it's very strong. So this pretty much means like an indecision. This is like a V shape, right? Indecision. So very important to right now drop on the daily and the hourly time frame to have a look at what is happening most recently. Well, we broke structure up, then we broke structure down, then we broke structure down right there. And okay, so this one is tricky because it wicked and it's immediately up. So I would still count this as my major daily lower high. And if this one breaks, then I'm gonna turn bullish on the daily. Okay, so this one is actually daily break. So daily is kind of up and down, up and down. This could potentially be a little bit of a weekly pullback in order to continue climbing higher. We see that the Dixie is bearish right now. So we have that little bit of a risk on perspective, maybe about to kick in, right? But you can see like the most recent price action here, again, December, not the greatest. We had a very nice expansion down 3rd of January. We had a very nice pullback. So then again, this was your main supply zone. You take a short from here, you ride it towards the lower low. It got taken. And look at here, if you actually ask the question, what caused the lower low? It's this pullback. And it was actually here that we shifted bullish on the hourly time frame. Then this was our demand zone. And it actually got retested with that wick and currently driving higher. So again, already thinking ahead, I do think this one can get broken on the daily simply because the hourly has aligned bullish right now. It has great strength similar to all the USD pairs that we look at. The question is, how are we going to do it? Are we first going to do it and then initiate a pullback, or are we first going to initiate a pullback and then do it, right? Whatever happens, I'm going to be flowing with the market and then of course looking for the best opportunity. But again, in terms of opportunities precisely right now, we don't have any, right? The market is in a very massive impulse phase, so we don't want to go short because it can continue going higher, and you don't want to go long because yeah, it can continue, it can start a pullback and you pretty much don't have a setup right now. So again, give it some time. Have those true outcomes, wait for them to play out, and then just wait for the market to start forming structure, and that's when you start trading. And remember, patience is key. You gotta wait for your setups. NZD/JPY, probably similar to AJ. Push, pulls back, pushes again, wicks it up, and then it pulls back. So looks bullish on the monthly. Weekly time frame, again, this is again the confusion, right? So you can say that this is right there. Well, no, that's wrong. This was the last push down, so this one was the supply. The supply got invalidated, right? The supply got invalidated, so we have a break right there. But then ask the question, okay, what actually caused that break? Is it this low or is it this low? Well, to me, it's this. This is a valid pullback to me right there. So right here we have a bearish reversal, but again, this is the weekly. I don't have rules right there, so it's again debatable. You can say that this is your major high low, right? And then you look at your range like this. right? But I can say, well, no, this was my hard low, which got broken right now. So now I look at it like this, right? So again, many outcomes, many scenarios. Make sure to listen to your own plan, right? I'm immediately going to drop to the daily time frame because daily time frame will offer us a much greater insight because we simply have a daily break of structure. We have a supply zone right there and the daily is currently bearish, tapping into a potential demand on the left that could be that major monthly higher low, right? Then we're dropping onto the forward time frame, which is a little bit different because it yeah, that is very tricky, but it's actually valid, right? This one is a valid break of structure right there. This one is not. Then this one is my forward break of structure up. And then this one is again forward break structure up. Then it pulls back into demand and actually gives us a long right there. And then it breaks structure up again. What caused the break? This one is not valid. Yes. So this is what caused the break right there. So we are currently bullish, very nicely bullish on the forward on this one. What I'm going to be looking for right now is for a pullback inside this zone. This is not for me a major high low. So if these wicks get broken, it's not invalidated. So in this case, what you can do is go to the 8-hourly time frame and take this 8-hourly demand zone, right? And what I'm going to do is wait for this to happen and then potentially to take a long, okay? So, or just wait for a new structure to form. And then if it goes down from this daily supply, then we can start going short. So it's actually NZD-JPY is the only pair that actually looks good on the 4H that has some structure. But first of all, we need to see the pullback inside this demand zone, right? I would love to see all of those wicks right there get taken out as liquidity. And then if we align bullish from here, that's when we can have a very nice long trade. Okay, but again, it's too early to say. The year just opened. We're just about to get some volume, so let's not rush too much. But this is how I look at it. I'm bullish on NJ. NU is also bullish, so let's see how those go. And pretty much all the USD pairs are bullish. The JPY is not that much, so let's actually look at UJ, which is the driver of the JPY pairs, and see how we can link it to all the JPY pairs. Well, after an incredible rally to the upside, right, we finally found the top at 152, right? Pretty precisely right there. And right now we're initiating already 2 months of a pullback. Okay, so again, we should not try to catch the bottom right now. We shouldn't be like, okay, demand zone, this is going to be the bottom. We're going to go long from here. No, right? Overall, the monthly is bullish, right? So that's all the information we need. Then we drop into the weekly time frame, and again, the last major weekly higher low was here, which was just violated this week, right? So again, monthly is bullish, but weekly right now is shifting bearish. What is the structure that actually caused that break? It's this one, and that one already threw a little bit of wick inside. So very tricky delivery right here. And yeah, definitely tricky indeed, because then you can see the weekly goes bearish, but the daily went down, and right now the daily actually wicked up, which could be a liquidity grab. But to me, again, I take wicks as breaks, so that could be a potential daily bullish break, right? So UJ is definitely very tricky right now. There is a lot of confusion between the time frames, so I immediately go to my main time frame, the forward time frame. Let's see what we have right here. Yeah, so we reversed bullish, higher low, valid, higher low. This one is also valid, which is very good to see. So that one was valid break. We potentially grabbed the liquidity right here, and right now we are reversing from the top like this. Okay, so this to me is a reversal which absolutely resembles the Dixie, right? They pretty much go hand in hand. So yeah, I am bearish on the JPY, which is gonna cause difficulty for the other JPY pairs to go up, right? Because if this is down, well, for example, this one is gonna go down, right? This one is gonna go down, and we think that some of them could go down because they're like coming close to some supply zones, but we never know, right? So this is how I very simply look at this one right now. Maybe we can use like another time frame. Yeah, this one looks perfect right there. So we have a 7 hours supply zone. What I'm going to be looking for is for a tap inside here and a short, or for a brand new range, lower high, lower low, retest, and then a continuation after a new supply is formed, right? So that's my outlook. That's my outlook on UJ. Very simple. Let's not make it too long. That's what I look for. Bearish buys. Let's see how it goes. Let's have a look at UCAT, right? So on the monthly time frame, this one is also tricky to analyze because we had this very nice push up right there that caused a potential reversal down. And then the question is this the major lower high that caused it, or is this the major lower high that caused it, right? If it's this one, then we have a bullish break. If it's this one, then we're still pulling back inside this range, right? So let me know what you guys think, especially the UCAT traders. So again, I'm just going to zoom in right now and see, okay, we have two very nice months of bullishness, and right now we're throwing a very nice correction, right? So this suggests that UCAT is bullish, right? Here, in terms of the weekly, look at those beautiful higher lows, higher highs. We had the last one. It pulled back. It didn't quite come in towards this demand zone. And look at what is happening right now. So it tried to go up to push. It fails. And right now it's pulling back. So two things can happen. This one can get taken like this, right? Or we're just pulling back to grab a little bit more steam and then to go up. Okay, so those are the two outcomes in terms of the weekly time frame. All right. Then dropping onto the daily, what is happening on the daily? Well, the price action was not amazing. Like again, even for November, had this pullback and just push, a very big chop. So I'm not gonna be looking on the daily, right? Because I'm gonna lose a lot of time trying to find like the valid break, the valid structure. But yeah, it looks like currently, if I just take it like this, break up, break down, pulls back, break down. So we are overall bearish. And then dropping to the golden time frame, which makes things very easy. We have a push or have a pullback, lower high. Where did it pull back to? Into the overall supply, which could potentially be like an 8 hourly. Yeah, we can take this whole candle right there. Yeah, or you can take like a 6 hourly one if you wish to refine it even more. So this is where we came in. Why? Well, because this is the push and the market pullback, tapped inside and gave us a very massive reversal down, which created a break structure. So we're currently at a lower low. What is the supply? It's this, right? So what we should be looking for, pullback. It might not come all the way up. So keep that in mind. So it can come in 50% lower high and then continue going down like this. Or similarly to all the USD pairs, especially the Dixie and UJ, right? Those are the two outcomes. Okay, so I'm bearish on UCAT. And if this kind of theory I have of this low, so this low was a daily / weekly low, it failed to take out the high, so it becomes weak, it becomes liquidity. Then we can take shorts all the way down towards this low, which is gonna tap us then into this very nice demand zone. Okay, so let's see how this one is gonna go work out. The Dixie is also bearish, so this gives us a lot of confidence for UCAT to go down. So let's see how it works out. Next on the list are the GBPs, which have been very tricky for quite some time. Like if you look on the monthly time frame, pretty much the range I would say starts from here, right? And we are above 50%, but we can start drawing supply on the left and they just keep getting broken, right? So bearish on the monthly. On the weekly, it's also a little bit tough. For me, the major weekly lower high was this, which got broken like quite a few weeks ago. And since then, we have been overall not moving a lot, right? So there is that very nice demand zone that we can potentially target for a potential demand. But again, in terms of the weekly time frame, we're right now a little bit in the middle of nowhere. Dropping onto the daily time frame, the most recent bullish break was here. Then the most, it's not the most, but then we have a trend change down there. Pullback, then we have another break of structure down here. And then you can see it was pretty sloppy right there. And just this week, it started moving like bearish, bullish, very nice, bearish, very nice, bullish, right? So personally, I am just warming up this week, so I'm not going to be looking for any kind of big trades or something. I just want to get a feeling of the market, how it moves, how it doesn't move. January is usually a little bit of a tricky month as well, so keep that in mind, right? It usually starts flowing from February, so keep that in mind. But then again, you can see dropping onto the Forex, which makes things much easier. We had a very big consolidation. The market pushed down, pull back, lower high. It actually wicked above, right? This is why I don't like GU. It doesn't work with my way of doing things, right? This to me, right, would have been a break of structure, but for a lot of you will be a liquidity grab, which GU likes to do. Like look at here, liquidity grabs goes down, right? It constantly keeps doing this. Liquidity grabs here, it goes down, right? It went down, but then you can see it created a break of structure down here and then a break of structure up there. So pretty much similar to all the other pairs we've looked at. It has a very recent bullish momentum. So two things can happen. We can initiate a pullback around 50% and all the way down. I don't think it's going to come all the way down because this is the first bullish push that creates the trend change. And usually this one goes to 30%. So I would expect a little pullback, higher low push, and then I'm going to trade the next one, right? So that is my outlook on GU. Very simple, very precise, I would even say. So let's keep it at that. And the GJ also. So monthly time frame. Bullish up move, pulling back right now, so monthly looks bullish. Weekly also looks bullish, right? So we're pulling back towards this big zone, which we can potentially look sort of fine to the wick right now, which we just kissed this week. And yeah, but daily is bearish, right? Last daily break is here. Then we have this supply, and then if we drop on the Forex, let's have a look at the Forex. Yeah, this not the cleanest, but this one is valid. So then this means that there is our break. So yeah, this one also shifted bullish right now. It pulls back and it can potentially come in and take this high. Similar to the other JPY pairs, they have a supply zone on top. So we can take that most recent structure, then come inside right there. And then from there, we can look for shorts or just keep following the flow. Okay, so to me right now, GJ is in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not really going to be touching it. I'm either looking for it to start like reversing down. Although if this one is a bullish break, then the major high low is going to be this one. So I would definitely love to see this one break because then I'm going to have a new high low, right? And then if this high low breaks, then I'm going to have a valid trend change to start looking for shorts. So again, let's wait for it. Form some clean structure and then we strike. Okay, I still think it's too early to trade GJ especially. Goldie looks like it's starting to push very nicely to the upside after we tapped this 50% right there, which is actually a quarterly push right there. Chopped in around in the middle, tapped in, and right now we have 2 months of bullishness, and right now we immediately start and create another. Yeah, we just continue to push to the upside. So again, the question is, are we gonna go and take out the highs? Are we going to continue consolidating again? We don't know. So focus on the present. Focus on what is happening right now. Jumping onto the weekly time frame, well, we officially had a weekly reversal right here. To me, this was the major weekly lower high, right? You see that we actually respected it right there, but then we broke it. So this is when the weekly turned bullish. And yeah, you can see, yeah, December right there, pretty slow. Then the first week, yeah, the last week of December, a little bit of, yeah, this is the second. Yeah, this is the last week of December. And then we have this week that just continues to maintain that push. What you can do right now is start drawing supply. Don't do this, right? Just keep flowing with the flow. Keep flowing with the flow, yeah. Daily time frame, again, pretty bullish week. So we started push, pullback, right? Creating a nice pullback on the following on Thursday. And then Friday, NFP takes it home to the upside. So again, you can draw on the left. Some sort of supply zones. Don't do this. Flow with the flow, as I said. Quality time frame, not very nice because we had a break here, then we could have had a break down, but most recently again we have a break of structure up. So very simply, this is what we have, right? This is our major high low formation. So we have a push. Again, we can wait for the market to pull back all the way down and take a long, or we can wait for a pullback, high low, push, pullback, and then potentially take it again. Okay, so that's gold. Allow me again to get into the zone a little bit to start monitoring the charts. I'm pretty rusty right now in terms of analysis. I haven't looked at the market in a very long time, which has been very refreshing. So I'm gonna need a little bit of time to get into the grips, right? So yeah, this is how I look at gold right now. Very simply, very bullish, looking for that pullback. Again, is it gonna create a little pullback, then high and pullback, or is it gonna create right now a bigger pullback to take a long and then ride it into this new high? So let's see and let me know what you guys think about it. All right, let's wrap it up with some indices. So again, very uncertain, very hard to read what is going to be happening. There are a lot of potential outcomes that we can look at. We're going to be exploring them right now on a week by week basis. So pretty much US 30 still bullish, right? We're pulling back right now very nicely, which is around 22% from the top, which officially makes this market bearish. But right now, like these 2 months, right, they were rather bullish. December closed as a rejection candle. So again, we are really about to see what is going to happen right now, right? I would personally want to see one more drop to the downside, which is where we're definitely going to start buying even more. Okay, so Weekly time frame, very tricky because the weekly time frame turned bullish right after the break of this one. We turned bullish. And then the question is, well, where is our weekly high low formation? It's not this one, which makes it this one, right? So the weekly is going to be bullish until we break below this one, which does not make much sense, right? So what I would much prefer to do is flow with the daily and the 4-hourly time frame. This is a little base that we can explore. And then if we jump on the daily time frame, well, we can see that this one was a very strong supply zone. We came in, took out this high, right? We aligned bearish, then we threw a very big wick into the highs, and then we massively rejected down, tapping into this demand zone. But this makes the daily right now bearish, right? And technically this is the supply. It doesn't look great, but this is the supply. Why? Because this is the push. And this is currently the pullback in a little bit of a range. So we have been again, around the 15th of December, we got into a very big chop. And just this Friday, we had a very nice reaction. Some of the stocks climbed very nicely, which is not great because I was looking to buy some, but I wasn't really into the zone. So I didn't perform my fundamental analysis as I should have. So I actually refrained from buying. But I would say right now, in terms of day trading as well, give it some time. Right, because look at what we were trading inside up until now. So right now we're starting with a nice push into the highs, and you can say, yes, we have a breakout structure up. We are bullish. But personally, as I say, first week of January just closed, right? January is also very slow. So you're probably also just right now getting to the charts. So allow yourself to get into the zone a little bit, allow for the market to actually show you what it wants to do, and then we can start striking with full confidence. So again, I don't want to call anything on USD right now. We're just exiting this consolidation. And again, I'm just going to be getting into the zone, looking at the fundamentals and potentially seeing where this might take us this year. Nasdaq, very nice decline. It didn't go to take out the low, right? So it's stopping right there in the middle, right? So weekly pullback, so actually a monthly pullback. It tries to push. So hopefully it actually fulfills the push and breaks the low, right? We've seen some tech stocks continue to drop, right? Microsoft is getting killed. Amazon is getting killed as well. Meta is getting killed. Apple is getting killed as well, but not as much as the other ones. So this is why the Nasdaq, the tech index is the weakest of them all, right? Daily time frame, you can see here, we're rather bearish right now. And yeah, we're just staying within this little consolidation period right here. So even if you drop to the 40 time frame, again, don't trade this. Breakout structure up, down, up, down, up, down, right? So the most recent is up, but does that mean that you should go long all in? No, right? So again, I'm going to be passive, especially this week in terms of indices, and waiting for them to develop a little bit. And especially very interesting is next week's CPI and what it wants to do. S&P as well, since the middle of December, just chop. It pulled back towards a weekly supply, rejected from it, right? But right now, again, we're in the middle of nowhere. So it's very good to continue dollar cost averaging, right? To keep buying into it. But again, I would expect maybe for us to have a little bit of a climb, but I would still be looking to short or still looking for another drop to the downside. So let's see, it can come in any time. If we again consider the daily time frame, it's a bit tricky because we have this wick right there. That makes it very tricky. Pullback, yeah, or we can again say similar to US30, this is the supply. Why? Well, because this is the last valid daily breakout structure. So looking to see the pullback and then potentially short from 4K-ish. Okay, if we have a look at the fear and greed index, we're back at neutral, and you can see we went above the 125 MA, then we dipped below, and right now we're coming back to retest it from the other side. Look what happens usually: go above, below, retest it from the other side, and then it drops. Right? Happens here as well. Went up, down, retested from the other side, and then it drops. So let's see. 28th of December, we were 32 fear. Right now, we're starting to recover a little bit. This is simply because of that very recent push up. So again, very neutral. So you don't want to be playing in the neutral, right? You will either want to be selling when the market is greedy or buying when the market is fearful. So right now, this is why I'm stepping aside and looking to evaluate a little bit more what could potentially happen when the indices, right? Cryptos are just chopping around right now at the bottom. So I'm looking for another push into the downside. I'm especially looking for Ethereum to finally go in and break 800. That's when I could potentially consider starting to invest a little bit in crypto, but in a safer way right now. So let's see, right? I want to close this analysis like this, right? I think it got very long, right? I'm still getting into my grips as well. So very exciting things ahead of us, guys, in 2023. I have a lot of projects that I'm going to be working on right now, so I got to really prioritize them for my community. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a revamp for the course as well. We're going to be launching live sessions as well, fundamental analysis outlooks, buddies as well, buddy system, and all of that great stuff. So I'm going to spend time on that, and then I'm going to be producing a very big kind of masterclass on YouTube that you can all study and gain a lot of value. So again, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like the video, support the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think for all of your favorite pairs, and talk to you on Tuesday.